Good morning, 842. All right, so I got a rally for you guys. We're going to be going up against BKO, and this, of course, is the same kingdom that SGK and F and a couple of other different guilds are, and that's going to be in part two of the next video coming up. So make sure you subscribe and hit the bell for the next video that's coming out, but let's get straight into it. So, as you might imagine, when I started out, I basically mimicked looking like I was in CTO. Now, the way I did this is really simple. I basically ported into 842 and migrated, and then like anything, when you're starting out and you're trying to draft this way, a lot of people will tell you that what you can do is you can, either join in, not change your guild, don't change your name, and do anything like that. But as you can see, what I've done is I've actually made myself try to look like an alt or somebody from an actual, a member of CTO. I find that this strategy tends to work really well because people don't really initially jump to the conclusion, and it looks like an alt guild, which is effectively what people are ultimately looking at when they're pointing out, and they sit there and kind of squander their time. Now, I will say that, as you can see, he's going to sit here and scout. I don't have anion, so he can see whatever is going to pop over. Now my comp, it's 3 mil, pretty much more or less, with about 8 mil. It's well over, right? I'm like at 33 billion troops here, so any rally that gets smacked at me is going to get walked. Like there's very little chance that is going to do any, if any, damage to me. But the thing is you never know, right? Now, looking at how this has gone for me last time, as you guys have already seen, it didn't really work out so well for me last time. So I'm kind of hoping to redeem myself here in this video a little bit. Now, I will say that this is the tip of the iceberg. I mean, next video, it's going to blow your socks off, but you'll have to wait and see for that one, because that one's going to take me some time to edit, because that was a freaking just crazy ordeal that happened afterwards. And that's it. With Brutal in here, you can see he's pretty much scoping out whether or not I'm a target or not. And the other guy already pretty much poked and, started this whole thing. So, I think BK job there up in the top right with that little, the new skin, that guy. I thank him for it, because he's basically the one that scouted me, and then he proceeded to probably tell his guildmates, and that's really how this all got started. I mean, I didn't have to do anything with an 8-hour rally or anything like that, so I didn't have to pop Fury, didn't have to break the shield or anything. It just, I don't know why, but sometimes this just works, But the thing is that, that it was like, I think like, 7, 8 o'clock when I was doing this. And this is the thing is you do stuff at 7, 8 o'clock, you never really know exactly what you're going to be in for, and in some ways I wasn't really prepared for the fact that, between BKO, SGK, there's like F here, there's enough guilds here that, it's like, I don't know if I'll get quad rallied, double rallied, triple rallied, and as you can tell, I'm a little slow when it comes to learning how to take marches and stuff. I'm getting better about it. It's been a while. I mean, mind you, for those of you who are just coming to the channel and never watched me before, I've been playing this game for about 7 years. I mean, more or less, I've been here since like 2017, right around. It's been a while. That said, looking at the big picture here, it's like, whenever you're trying to bait and try to do any of this kind of trapping, if you're even remotely curious as to how to do this, one of the things that I did differently that I didn't do before with my rally trap before is I basically decided to get the debuff research. And I will say that after kind of fighting it for a while, as to whether should I do it, should I not do it, is it going to ruin my trap? I'm now thoroughly convinced that you can get the debuff research and people will still hit you at 700 mil, just like they would if they would hit you at 500 mil 2 years ago. I mean, there's no doubt in my mind that is not a barrier to entry anymore. It's actually not. If anything, it's become the meta, Now, I mean, I will say that for what I took in terms of the amount of effort that it took to get back to this point, because again, I basically wiped out myself from that KD1 freaking mess from before. So for those of you who missed context, I basically got myself zeroed back when I was 500 mil because more or less I was kind of lacking the understanding that some of the major rally traps out there have been going about playing the game. So shout out to Dama the Trap because he helped me out here and really gave me some of the advice that frankly now we're now using that same advice to kind of build ourselves a working method here. And I think after looking at it from this perspective, it's like basically don't look at the watchtower. You watch the marches, watch the lines, watch the arrows. You can judge what kind of rally it is if you judge the marches. But that's assuming that every single member, and this is the thing, in part 2 you'll see what I mean. But it doesn't work so well if you've got a coordinated group of people that happen to all be putting in siege. Because then you can only assume one of two things is going to happen. It's either going to be mixed, it's going to be infantry, or you're going to get bamboozled. Either way, all of it bad. At least with a calf march, you can kind of tell right away, oh, it's a calf march because of how fast the lines are moving. And so in some ways more than one, I'm kind of struggling here. I'm checking castles to see if they're wearing speed gear, because that's another thing you have to be kind of weary of. You don't want to accidentally find yourself in this predicament. You don't want to basically accidentally take a march in range while you're sitting in you don't want an inf march at you while you're sitting in range. And simultaneously, you don't want to take a wedge and with a mixed rally. So you're kind of having to go back and forth. And the thing is every time I swap, this guy just keeps freaking me out. He cancels. And I'm like, what the hell? It freaking tripped me out. I'm like, how is it exactly that this guy knows? How does he know? What? I mean, at some point I started thinking, are the bots omniscient now all of a sudden? Like, wait, what's going on here? They're sending familiar attacks at me? And I'm like, what? How does he know? How does he know? Because this doesn't make any sense to me. I mean, I'm like, maybe they can see it. I didn't know they could. As far as I knew, they couldn't. But I'm sitting here, I'm thinking, what the heck is going on here, right? And you can kind of see how, at least with BKO in particular, they're pretty freaking hesitant, and I don't blame them. It's already kind of sus as hell. I mean, the way I have this set up, it doesn't look at all questionable. Just at a glance, I don't blame them for being like a little, this doesn't look right. Like, there's nothing about this that looks normal. This is just, there's not something wrong about this. But he's got a nice set of speed gear. But as you can tell, he's not an Astrolite champ player, right? So, by no stretch of the imagination is this guy like, But if I put him in a room with the high end, the mid end, and the low end, he's somewhere in between. He's not the highest grade, but he's like some of the best gear you can get without getting champion. And he's not all Astrolite, and he doesn't have a whole lot of time spent into artifacts. So as you might imagine, this guy's not exactly the creme de la creme of rally leads. So it is kind of fascinating when you can look at somebody like BK Lemon that's right beside him. And Lemon's just like, you got Brutal here, so you're taking a whim, taking chances here. Which I think is kind of not really all that uncommon, right? You look at a lot of guilds, and that's what they do, is that they'll basically let these guys send in first, and then the second guys, the guys with all the capital, sometimes they'll be the ones backpacking in the back, waiting so that they can free the leads out, because they're the ones that can, dish out the damage. It's just that, they kind of hold on to those, and you can't really blame them, because you need them for WoW, you need them for Baron. You don't want to have those accounts get capped and then you can't leverage their stats. So it's in some ways I can kind of understand where this guy's coming from, but even still, I think it really started to bother me at this point was, it's like, okay, maybe they're not going to hit me, and it's and then all of a sudden, what do you know? Another rally. They're going to go. Oh boy. Maybe they just couldn't fill. And then it dawned on me, oh my God. Maybe he just didn't fit. He just doesn't have enough people. And I'm sitting here, I'm like, oh my days. And now he's testing, and I'm like, oh, did I change? Oh, thank God I put it back. I put it back. So it's like, okay, I'm not gonna trip him up. I'm not gonna freak him out. Because I'm thinking, great, this is gonna go great. Now I'm watching marches again, because again I'm thinking maybe he decided to go mixed. Maybe he's gonna, I don't know. But obviously now you got more BKO players coming in. I'm thinking he's probably at this point he just finally got the fillers he needed, so here they come. And again, everybody in this mess is like 2 bill. That's one thing I did kind of notice out of the gate is that I don't know if they're hesitating because it might be because that they're that worried of other guilds hitting them. And I never really thought about this until, I looked at it after the fact, and now I'm sitting here going, I wonder if they were just sketched out. Oh boy. But, needless to say, this is the mess that ensues afterwards, guys. It's like I failed to fill a rally twice now. Oh my Jesus. I don't know, they're killing me, man. They're killing me. I am genuinely like, I'm so confused. I know he's gonna send Cav. That my gut tells me that he's sending Cav, but I am like, he's wigging me out. I've I've been sitting here trying to avoid accidentally taking the wrong march, right? I'm sitting here thinking, oh man, that could happen, that could happen, that could happen, and I'm like running it through my mind like a half a dozen times, right? And now I'm just thinking, this guy could cancel on me, right? Not once, but twice. And every time I swap, he cancels, and I'm like, what? Wait a minute, does he know I swapped? Like, I don't think he knows, but, you can't help but wonder. You really can't help but wonder, it just, the timing of this could not have been any worse, okay? Literally within seconds of me doing that, he then proceeds to freaking cancel the rally. And he does that not once, but twice. I don't even know what to do with that information, dude. But, yeah, here we are. We're having a good old time. All the while, BKO is scouting away. I mean, I'll be honest with you. I got here for SGK. But I'll take what I get. If BKO is going to be the one that I end up taking it for, then so be it. So be it, man. So be it. These all seem pretty fast, though. I mean, just in general, they seem pretty fast. I'm hoping I'm right, because if I'm wrong, I'm really screwed. So, but all right, we got Brutal SC here. So.
I can't take it anymore. My mind's about to go to war. I need someone to save me from myself, to hear me cry when I call out for help. I blame it on the voices that are in my head, wondering if they'll ever be put to bed. Feels like I am close to reaching my wit's end, holding out, but I'm about to blow it up like a volcano. Another day to lose control. There's a fire in my bones. My sight gets blurry, pushing back the tears.